But I had an email from Karen, and Karen said that she doesn't have a stovetop and she doesn't have a microwave oven. The only thing she has in her little house is an oven. So I've been experimenting for the last month on batch cooking only in the oven. Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living, a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. It's been a long time since I've posted video. I've been using my older videos, kind of filling in until I get better. So my wife now is on hospice, which is why I'm not jumping in and supporting you as much as I normally. You know what hospice is? It's basically a medical team for the end of your life. Been really traumatic here. We're trying to deal with it. So I haven't been cooking for myself, but what I have been doing, since I haven't really been home, is I make a batch cooking in a huge pan. And I put in butternut squash, acorn squash, and a multiple of all kinds of vegetables that I have that I purchase at Sam's Club. That's not my main place. They never have butternut squash. They never have acorn. I buy this at my local Sprouts grocery store. And then what I do is I make a huge pan, and it lasts me approximately a week, maybe a week and a half, depending on how much I eat or how much stress I'm under. And that's how I've been doing for the past 2.5 months. Once a week, I make one of these pans, and I eat vegan, and it's healthy for me, and I lose weight, and I feel great. As long as I stay away from the processed foods, I'm okay. This video is about these acorn things. I'm not able to drop it. And to show you that I am still making videos and I'm still cooking in the kitchen. As you can tell, my kitchen's messy. Yes. I'm the only one here right now. My wife is in the hospital and nobody's telling me what to do. So I have a messy kitchen. My wife would always say, Gary, pick up the kitchen. You don't want to let people see what really is happening in your kitchen. Okay, so we're gonna get started. First I'm gonna do is assemble all the ingredients. I'm gonna show them to you. I'm gonna quickly peel each ingredient. You're not gonna see the entire video like that. I'm gonna start lacing them inside this pan. I use parchment paper on the bottom because I don't want cleaning the pans. It's basically it. And then I stick it in the oven. I'll show you that piece by piece and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And I'll have some food for lunch and dinner today. And that's why I do these. Okay, so we're gonna get started and I'm gonna show you what to do next. That noise you hear in the back is the dishwasher. And I'm actually trying to clean up my kitchen a little bit. All right, so you know busy on butternut squash. I'll be cutting these in half, scraping them, removing the seeds. These are acorn squashes, the same thing. I'll cut these. Now you can eat the skin of the acorn as well as the butternut. Remember to pull your stickers off. You don't want to bake or cook any stickers on. I think I've gotten the butter squash done. Gotta check. These things are lethal. Why? They have bad glues in them. Always wash your vegetables. I'll be washing my hard skinned squashes. So I'll be putting in Brussels sprouts. These are really, really good if you're vegan. They have a lot of nutrients. I buy carrots, 5-pound bags. Some eggplants and red cabbage. This one's organic, straight from Sprouts. Okay, so then what I basically do is I put parchment paper on the bottom of each of the pans and I layer in. And when I do this one, this will be the deep dish pan. I'll be laying this on the bottom first. Now why these? These have really incredible amount of nutrients that people kind of forget. Now these taste really good raw too. All right, so the ingredients, of course, will always be in the comments section. I'll write down all the ingredients for you. Okay, so we're gonna start peeling this stuff together, dicing it together. You'll be seeing small portions of it, like I said in the introduction, and we'll get this going because I have to go see Linda, and I have a podcast to put out. I'm a busy man. Okay, so we're gonna start off first by peeling the turnips. Why do I peel them? A lot of my friends say, why do you bother? A couple of reasons. These are coming out of Mexico. They use pesticides there. No matter how clean, even though these are organic turnips, who knew? You still have to peel them. Now, what some people of my friends do is they take these peels and they make other things with it, like vegetable sauce. I don't do that because of the pesticides. I always line my pans with parchment paper. I wish I had stock in this stuff. And so that's what that's going to be for. Then what we're going to do is we're going to peel the turnips, and then we're going to wash and slice the eggplants. And I bought 3 of them because I really like eggplants. Yes, they're a nightshade, but they don't bother me. And they do a really good job of going up and down. Okay. Meanwhile, I also have to take these carrots, and I've experimented now for about 2 months now. You cannot cook carrots in the oven. Not for an hour. Maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. So what I do is I peel these and I start them off in the stove, on the stovetop. So while I'm working on the oven recipe, I'm also going to be cooking carrots in the stovetop. Meanwhile, I also need to cut my Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are full of nutrients, really, really good. I like them multiple ways. I like them in the oven, and this time they're going to be basically cooking in the oven. And these work just fine. And this pan here. And what I do is I put them together and I have my meal. I fill an entire plate, one of these fancy plates that I bought from my mom, and full of vegetables, and I use that for lunch and dinner. Alright, so we're going to move these turnips out of the way and these eggplants. And what we're basically going to do is peel these carrots, cut them, and put them to cook right away, because carrots take a while to cook. Just gonna peel a couple of these, turn it off, go to the next vegetable. So everybody's seen people peel carrots. You don't need to be seeing me. If you want to see me poke and look at some of my early videos, I would put the entire carrot in there, and that's it. And I don't do that anymore because I've learned you just don't need to see that. Okay, nobody wants to see my secret. I peel my carrots because I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what's on top of them. Some people just wash their carrots. I'm happy for them. I get all kinds of notice saying, you're wasting nutrients. Maybe that's true. But this is my house and I'm doing it my way. If you don't like it, you probably should go to a channel where they don't peel carrots. You know? This is just, there's only me that's a vegan, except for my dogs. They're carnivores, but they like my carrots. Or they like my vegetables. I don't cook them in oil, they just like it. They're used to me giving them vegetables. Most of the time they're after my dinner, after they've eaten their dinner, because they like it. I'm just that kind of person. So that's basically that carrot thing. It's going to be cooked on my stove, which is not clean, which is why you're not seeing it up close. I'll be putting it into this pan with hot water, because I have an Instant Hot in my kitchen. I'll show it to you. An Instant Hot is basically a faucet that puts out extremely hot water. This is great for my wife's teas. It's great for a lot of applications. I'm going to fill it entirely with hot water. Our water is filtered through these 2 giant, over 6 foot tall filters. Okay, so that's it. This is going to go on the stove. It's going to go on the stove. These carrots, all of these are going to be on there. We're just going to cut these 3 to show you. I've misplaced my sharp knife. Let's see, that's about right, like that. So I'll put it in like that. I'm measuring that way because they're going to be standing up by the time I'm finished. Alright, so these are the carrots. They look like this. Now they're going to, not like that. Don't spill the water all over the place. Then they're going to go on my stovetop. Okay, so we peel this off. I like these on the bottom of the pan. Turnips take a little bit of time to cook. They're very dense. It tastes good if you get used to that turnip taste. I like them. Okay, what I do when I do this is I cut the bottom of here, you see? And that way it stands up a little easier. Alright, once I do these, what I do is I take the pan, flip this around, and I leave the sides up. And I put these on the bottom. I tried this a couple times, and I like how it turned out. We're going to do it the same way this time. Maybe that flat portion could go at the very edge here. Oh, where do you think you're going? I always talk to my vegetables. You just never know what they're thinking. Yes, I've lost my mind. If you haven't figured it out by now, vegans often talk to their vegetables. Alright, so that's basically the first level. And over here, I take the next knife. I don't like this end piece. Most people do, but I don't. So we're going to take that off. It's just, I try to keep them the same thickness. This time it's like 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to do one. And we're going to let it go. And then I'll catch you up on the next vegetable. These are really, really beautiful eggplants. I used to grow them in my last place I was at. Okay, all right. Now every other time when I make this, I use spaghetti sauce. I just love spaghetti sauce. I have my brand that I prefer. I'm gonna show you that real quick. Diced tomatoes, because I don't have any tomatoes where we live right now. See, I love this brand. Okay, does it have oil in it? It has oil in it. So for the start solution, people, this one here, the ingredients are Italian old peel tomatoes, olive oil, onions, salt, garlic, basil, black pepper, and oregano. I just like the taste of this. When it looks like that, I'll put another layer, and the next layer will probably have the diced tomatoes. All right, so that's what it is. With 2 eggplants is red cabbage. Every vegetable gives you something. This has been washed, as you can tell. So I'm just going to do this to it. And just do a little bit so I can show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to open it up and just open it up this way. Alright, so what you've seen is I took the carrots off of the stove top. Put a layer on top. There's still plenty left, as you can see. I'll probably feed a lot of these to the dogs and myself and other various dishes. I've cut the Brussels sprouts and I'm laying over the top. So you see you have multiple layers of vegetables. They all have their own individual nutrients and vitamins and everything in between. So that's what I'm doing right now, is making sure that I have a layer. I like to use panko dressing, topping, and I'm going to pour on top some panko. Okay, something else for the recycling. All right, so now it's just a matter of putting it in the oven. Okay, so our ovens are low in this home. So I press bake. It's always at 350, and it'll take no time at all to start. And it looks like this right now. And meat tenderizer from my mom. Okay, I don't like this end here where the top is, so I like to cut that off. Throw that out. And then I take it and I cut it like about here. Everybody's got a different way, and that's just the way I do it. And then I lay it forward and I cut it again. Sometimes it's down the middle, sometimes it's not. Today we're going to be doing long portions. Doesn't really make any difference. If you wanted to, you could cut it this way. It's going to cook the same. Over here, I have to get a strainer for the seeds. These are the seed strainer. So then I take a knife and I put it down in the middle. Try to take my... And instantly you can see the seeds. And then I take the seeds out
rather forcibly. Oh, and these have already started to sprout. Now some of my friends, what they do is when the seeds are sprouting, they plant them right away in the garden. That's what I used to do. I don't have a garden yet, so it's a little difficult. And this extra stuff here, I usually pull that off with a either a knife or this up inside here. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I do the same thing on the other side. Try to save as many seeds as possible. Flip it over, do the same thing. About there. It makes it easier to scrape off this extra material here in the middle. Okay, so that's basically how I take care of the butternut squash. Now let's talk about the acorn squash. We'll use a bigger one, and I don't worry about the middle. I just cut it down the center as much as I can. And that doesn't mean it's always perfect. Like this time, this one is really not exactly straight. I don't worry about it. And then I put all the seeds in, and this will require a little bit more work getting the seeds out. I love squash, and I like all the squashes. Okay, and if you want to have an angle, you can. Or if you want it just the way it is, you can. And we're just going to put the butternut squash. Now this is going to be cut in half. So then I take this, a bit like that. We'll cut this one, and we'll take all the pieces. Cut this one in half one more time. Doesn't matter. And then you could just cook this right now in the oven for 55 minutes, and that would be it. So then what I do is I put a little bit on the top, and that's it. Then it goes in the oven for 55 minutes. I'll show it to you when it comes out. I'll show you both dishes when they come out. Okay? I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so what I did is I put it in the oven. The bottom layer is the squash, and the top layer is the mixed vegetables in a pan. So we're gonna see you in about an hour, and hopefully we'll get this video out as soon as possible so you can catch up on my latest delicious vegan food. Well, the alarm has rung. Put it on top of here, and I'll show you how you can tell. I'll pull this out in a minute. Okay, so it comes out of the oven. You take a simple fork, and if it goes down like that, it's ready. The acorn squash cooks faster than it's like less dense. The butternut squash is ready completely. So what I do is I use like 1 or 2 acorn squashes and to my butternut squash, and I still use the other stuff that I have. We're gonna let this cool on the marble on this counter, and we're gonna pull out the other part. So what I do is I use the same fork I did with the squash, and I just test it. Yep, that's ready. And of course the carrots were already cooked ahead of time. Well, I'm just gonna pick on one end. Well, I could probably get away with this. Okay, let me explain. I could probably get away with this just the way it is, because what I do is I retake the food, put it back in the microwave, and I cook it for 3 minutes. And now I put on nutritional yeast, vitamin B12 basically, on top of this before I stuck it in the oven. And on top of that, I also put more on when I have my own meal. So now you have an idea of batch cooking. This is gonna last me over a week. And thanks a lot for listening to us, watching us, and we'll see you in our next video. And then I have other foods on the stove top I put away. I have to put away the squash, plenty to take care of. And then I have to rush to the hospital to see my wife. All right, see you soon, bye-bye.